Hello everyone, this is Commander Trium, talking to you once again from the Elite Dangerous universe. And once again, here we are. We have wingmen logged in, by the looks of it, wingmen aplenty. May be involved in combat and battle operations today. I'll have to watch the video and find out. I honestly don't know if we're going to get the chance for battle today. I'm still outfitting my craft with updates. I think it's likely we'll be involved in battle operations, but first, our wingman is not available. Have a look at our layout. Here is Celsius Gateway, and we are in the Baila system. We should be fairly close to Shinarta Desra. We're also near a community goal. Let's go have a look over here. It is the Amber system. Bobby Stacks is present. We are near the Wolf 387 system. I cannot recall what we were doing yesterday that has us over yonder, except possibly... Oh, I know what we're doing here. This is a known location for acquiring technology. And materials. Yes. We are no doubt trying to upgrade our fragmentation cannons. And for that, we need to achieve level 2. We have received our conductive components, so we may generate the modification. We will also require electrochemical arrays, which apparently we purchased prior to logging off last night. We're going to purchase a few more if we can. Electrochemical arrays. I'll take the War and Shield emitters. I have 15 heat conduction wiring. We are running low on conductive ceramics. We have 151 galvanizing alloys. We may trade in place. Take 2 of those. Flawed focused crystals. And electrochemical arrays. We will take in exchange some of the precipitated alloys. And we will take 1 of the heat resistant, actually 2, the heat resistant ceramics. We'll take 22 of the electrochemical arrays are now available. We've balanced our share of materials. I'll now head back to the engineer, and we will seize upon targets of opportunity on the route. Our wingman has logged off. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not too much. I noticed you were 108 light years from me. That's not very far with the ship configuration I've got. So you're within like 2 or 3 jumps of where I am. So I thought I'd reach out to you and see if you're busy, what you're up to, are you fighting Zargoids?
Right now I'm doing a set of master missions trying to G5 some multi-cannons.
Okay.
I'm trying to grind mats. Are you in a ship you in?
I'm in an Anaconda. I'm elite ranked, so I don't know what your rank is, but I can't remember. It's been a while since we last chatted. So I achieved elite earlier last month, I guess, back in August. And since then, I've been able to go to Shinrarta Desra and get whatever ship I wanted, pretty much, except for the Corvette. It's the only one I can't have access, and well, anything from the Empire.
Yeah, I gotta grind that too. I don't know, in combat I'm only dangerous. Like, I'm halfway through it, but okay. I managed to get Elite Explorer.
Oh, you got Elite Explorer.
Ground out some Rubiga runs.
Yeah, you were out there at one point. It's what I've been doing to make money is the Rubiga passenger runs by California Nebula. And, well, actually, I was out at the California Nebula. My Anaconda, as configured right now, jumps 40 light years. I've had it as high as 43. But I just decided to purchase shock cannons because they do 10 times damage at class 2 in their slots. So I may as well.
Oh, really? Is that the special thing?
Yeah, that's a special. You have to unlock that weapon first by getting all the materials together. But that's a
hard one. Technetium is hard to find, man.
Well, you can always trade for it at the raw materials trader. They'll give it to you. And the real problem was rhenium, because rhenium's found on no planets anywhere in the game. You have to find it by accident in the asteroid belts of ice worlds. And I got sick and tired of looking, so I just went and traded for it. The technetium I got access to pretty quickly though. I already had 20 units or something, which is you need like 26 to unlock any of them. And I'm working on my second class of shot cannon, a gimbaled class 3 shot cannon that's been available since the chapter 3 update. And
nice. We were wondering what the special deal with shot cannon was. Because
I'm just testing them out right now. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it sounds like I'm overheating. Because I started to get into some PvP. I've got a min-maxed meta FDL.
Yeah.
And I actually theory crafted another ship that turns out to be super mean. I've got myself a Challenger, and what I did was I put 3 Fletchet launchers on it.
Yeah.
And 1 huge and 3 small phasing sequence lasers.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds pretty nasty, but the lasers, the thing is, different ships have different resistances to lasers. Kinetic damage is like straight off. Your shields will absorb it, but once your shields are gone, that's it. I mean, they're done, right? Like, and you can knock people's shields down again. And what I found with the lasers was that the lasers were taking, in class 2 especially, they were taking too long. I do have a Class 4 weapon on this Anaconda, and I have 3 Class 3 large cannons. So I've devoted the 3 Class 3 large cannons to 2 fragmentation cannons, and I want a center mount kick-your-ass shock cannon, along with 2 Class 2 lateral side dorsal and ventral aiming shock cannons as well, so that I can do max damage. The thing is, I won't be using lasers anymore. It's all pretty much projectile. And though, of course, I have the Guardian Plasma. So, and the other thing I was thinking about doing is going off into Guardian space, and having another run at getting another component out of the Guardians. But so far, I've got, on any number of ships, I have 8 ships total available, and on any number of them, I can put the FSD booster. I need more of those, but I can just buy them now at will, because I unlocked them. So the only thing that remains unlocked, I think, are the power. It's either the power or one of the other modules. I can't remember which one. And I want to basically get that at my, whatever it was I was lacking at my next opportunity. But right now, I'm just going to be headed for the Wolf 397 system to visit Trigger Happy, whatever his name is, the engineer that's there, and he upgrades your fragmentation cannons. I don't think it's possible to upgrade the shock cannons. Once they're installed, that's it. But they're still 10 times tougher than upgraded Class 2 fragmentation cannons or lasers. In fact, the lasers there was literally a 10-fold increase in damage per second. Which makes the numbers look good, and if you've got a pilot that can aim properly, if they're turreted, it's fine. I put them on gimbal because I wanted to restore control. Oh yeah, I got better thrusters as well. Now I'm running Class 7A thrusters. So now the Anaconda actually moves like a ship again. But, so you're on a mission right now at any rate, eh? You sound like you're located in the United States, is that true? Hello? Hello? I've lost you, Loston. Nope, not hearing anything coming out of you. Sorry about that, we'll have to catch you next time. Take care. Okay, best do this on our own. We've got 1 jump. Okay. And sure, fire groups are in order. We've got a repair limpet in Class 7 or 7th slot alongside the collector limpet. And the shock cans are twinned at pin number 8. And looks like we can have those operational across the board here. No plasma launcher there, no torpedoes. Okay, I think we got this about as ideally configured as we can go. Go. Oh, that's a threat 5. That's too high for one ship. I like the trophy down. coordinates have been activated. Pad 03 tower, acknowledge. Mrs. FNS Ambrosia, registry AR010.
Landing gear deployed.
Docking procedure completed. Ship
Entering the
secured.
hangar. Turning to starport services and accessing the talents of the proprietor, engineer. We now have won a experimental effect. We will use ooh. That's interesting. Reload time reduced to 2.5 seconds. Oversized. Scaled up components Ooh. Well. That will be most welcome addition. So we will be up 6%. And we will now generate the modification. And that's it for both of those. The maximum grade has been reached. We cannot specialize him any further. Multi and fragmentation cannons are his specialties. He is now grade 5, maximum grade reached. And thus we have our desired state. Hello. How are you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, because I have different headphones and I thought you can't.
Okay, I'll wait until you give me a signal. Okay. Launch the ship.
Ship released. Departure authorized.
Ship release. Departure authorized.
Cannot comply. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Drive is engaged. Now we have to find a fight. We must pick a fight in the Trasmadi vicinity. And I don't know if we'll find one. But there must be one somewhere near here. No, I do not want a galaxy map, however, I will change this to allegiance. Map type, allegiance. System map. Let's go over here to this planet. Wolf 3973 Alpha. It is 10.4% metal, 26.1% ice, and 63.4% rock. Would you like some rocks? You can throw them at rocks, yes, you can throw them at other ships. Oh, there we are. Possible combat area, scanning. Weapons fire detection confirmed. Threat 1, computer, lock onto target and engage. Okay, whoever this is gets to feel the full force of my shock cannons. Because now I have shock cannons as my...
What ship are you using?
The Anaconda. So I have two class 2 weapons. These are shock cannons. And I have one more weapon I wish to unlock. The class 3 gimbaled shock cannon, which was made available only with chapter 3. So I would like to have that. So I have full access to chapter 3 features. And now we're engaging. Oh! There's 3 of them. It's an eagle. He's wanted. Letting him have it. Oh, let him have it. Unfortunately, that does not help us very much. Maybe 2 patrol craft in the area. Nope, these are not patrol craft. It is a wanted ship. It is a clipper. Imperial clipper. Set the other ship out. It's in Porta. Carrying passengers, it's clean. And we'll attack the other craft. Imperial craft. We are going to die. Gimbaled weapon doesn't seem to be doing very much. Looks like the shields are down.
Target destroyed.
Target is destroyed. Deploy the collector.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Here we go. So you're only 57 light years away.
Yeah, so I just came back from to the bubble.
So what are you doing here?
I'm doing. I just logged in and I saw a mission to kill some sentry skimmers for 3 million, so it's okay.
Oh, we're gonna do a climate mission.
Yeah. And right now I'm searching for them.
Salvaged allies, 6 kilometers. We've got 9% to go. 6%.
Cargo scoop retracting.
2% are going to disappear right away. They're gone. Computer, laying a course. The last target in this sector. That was an R-wake signature. Okay, that's it done.
Cargo scoop deployed. Cargo scoop retracting.
So I destroyed 2 ships. And now I have some bounties I can collect on if I want. So yeah, I don't know. Shock cannons are pretty weird. They fire 2 little green. They fire 2 little green bolts. And they don't seem to do much else.
They are the Guardian ones or normal?
What's that?
Those short cannons are the Guardian. Are from Guardians or the normal
Well,
ones?
they're human weapons.
Oh, okay.
So they don't. And they're green. Well, at least for me, they're green because I put my weapon color green. Change it to blue or yellow or something else if I want to. Yes. Green at least tells everyone what I'm doing. Most of my weapons are now gimbaled.
Not.
So I guess I need to upgrade my weapons some more. And in order to do that, I have to visit the raw material trader in nearest this sector. So I don't know if Shenrarta Desra has a raw material trader. Only available to elite players, so. It says here. This is Wolf 357.
Oh, nice.
What the hell it says? 397, sorry.
Okay, this is pretty cool now. It feels weird, but it's cool. I can change the field of view.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, Jerky, let's get started. We are sending you out after foreign collectors. You will see their name listed as soon as you have them selected. They are the type of bond most common in the near asteroid field. There is a second, further asteroid field that contains more difficult drones. Don't worry about these for now. Just stay closer to the station in the nearby field. Once you're launched, remember to press the appropriate key or button to select the nearest enemy target. On a touchscreen mobile device,
Where the fuck are those, man?
keypad, press D-pad left. Using a keyboard, use the X key. And on Fever or Daydream, you will single tap the touchpad to select the nearest enemy. When you have selected an enemy, then find that target on your radar circle and go to...
I need to find those sentry skimmers. I can't fucking find one.
Remember, you're looking for foreign collectors, which are enemy training drones that will appear red on your radar. There may also be some green dots. These are other new pilots in training. As long as you use select nearest enemy, you will only select the nearest enemy and will avoid selecting friendly pilots. Do this using the target buttons, keyboard X key, game controller keypad left, or by tapping the touchpad on Fever or Daydream. Once you have selected a target, you can see more information about that target by looking in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. VR displays will show the target information in the lower center of the cockpit. One X-Orange collector killed. Kill 3 more.
You're not playing Elite anymore. What's that?
Who's not playing Elite?
One X-Orange collector killed. Kill
What are you
2 more.
playing on? Xbox?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, on PC.
Well, how can you play both Elite and that game on the same computer?
What games?
What? How are you playing that game on the same computer you're playing Elite?
What game?
The one I heard in the background making all the noise.
Oh no, it's on the phone.
Oh. I see, sort of.
Vendetta, or how it's called.
Plus, where the hell is this system? There it is. Plus 19, BD 443, raw materials trader. Computer, I need you to be charted a course. And now we'll put the weapons away. We've closed off our weapons ports. Spinning around, laying in a new course. .5 light years. Computer, execute jump sequence.
Frameshift drive charging.
And don't you underestimate my computer.
Well, yes, but Elite is very, very intense application.
It doesn't look like.
Well, I have a VR helmet, so it requires like maximum performance to use the VR helmet. But luckily, since I'm a software developer, I have an excellent PC.
I run it normally, but it runs on high, or actually on ultra,
I see.
and it runs pretty cold for a notebook.
Course laid in for
Go
ahead.
I was thinking this weekend to at the Oculus Rift. I was thinking it would be nice, but I don't know, because I thought the field of view was pretty small.
Well, you should also consider the HTC Vive as another VR helmet.
I know, but like I saw, I know about the Oculus Rift for a long time. I know they are good.
Well, they aren't very well. Like, my Oculus Rift has worn out in 2 years of use. Now, I've used it a fair amount, but the cables in near the headset are giving out now. You have to buy extension packs if you want to have wireless headset. So you wear like a Wi-Fi network node on your hip, and then you can run around the room, and you can do all sorts of weird things.
So it has something like this?
Yeah, it's third party, but it will apparently work. So, I mean, and Facebook, don't forget, owns the Oculus Rift now. They bought Oculus, so...
Yeah.
It's now the Facebook Rift, effectively.
Here they are the Vive, at HTC Vive, it's like double the price.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like,
here they're the same price.
Oculus Rift, no, here Oculus runs for 450 euros.
Yeah.
And it's a bundle. It comes with like 6 those games, small games, and the Rift, 2 sensors and touchpads, or how they are called.
Yeah.
The gamepads, and the HTC Vive is like 900, almost 1,000.
1,000 euros for frickin' HTC Vive.
Yeah.
It's like double the price what it is here in North America. Obviously, it's slightly more expensive in Canada and the United States, but that's normal. The Canadian.
It's from Spain. So if I wanted to buy it from here, it's even more expensive.
Just
in a way.
buy it from another European country. You buy it from Belgium or something. I'm sure they have. I'm sure it's got to be available elsewhere in Europe at a cheaper price.
I don't know, but still, while looking around, I found out the Oculus. They're going to announce next month a new one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Half Dome.
Ooh.
And it has a bigger, even bigger field of view, and it has a dynamic focus, something like this. The screens move because I heard you cannot see closer than 2 meters. It becomes blurry. But they move the screen so you can see even closer.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter in Elite because you're never going to look 2 meters in front of you. You're looking like hundreds of kilometers or thousands of kilometers away, so it doesn't really affect Elite. But
yeah, in Elite doesn't affect, but everywhere else almost.
as long as the games that you get for the Dome are still compatible with the Rift, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know about that.
So you have to. I mean, I won't bother buying it. First of all, if if Elite doesn't support it, then it's of no use to me. Plus, I also play Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is a software title that's developed by a Montreal company here in Canada called, what the hell's the name of them now? I always forget their name. They're a big software vendor. They make really good games, high quality games, and they've really gone all out with Bridge Crew. You're flying, you can fly a 24th century Galaxy class starship. You can fly the normal Aegis, USS Aegis, which is the Federation's Constellation class cruiser in the alternate universe, or the Kelvin universe.
No.
The one where Vulcan is destroyed, which I don't agree with, but anyway.
Here, I don't know what to say because I don't know that much of Star Trek.
Okay. Star Trek is really
I never
old.
watched.
Yeah, I watched it since the 1960s, or since I was a small child. So I've always it cultivated my interest in astronomy, and I like the idea of the Federation, even if most people in the United States would never vote for a Federation. The scenario that they put, the scenario that they put out for the Federation in this game, in the Elite, there's a World War III, and only the United States, well, only North America survived without being hit by nuclear weapons because the United States had developed a secret anti-ballistic missile technology, which probably has happened actually in real life. I would guess. And Canada gets protected by whatever the United States is protecting itself with because we're so close to them. So the odds are that Canada and the United States are the only two. Well, it says in the game lore, if you go to Wikipedia or Fandom Wikia, that in Elite, the Elite Wiki, it says only the United States survived unscathed through World War III. And the rest of the world got pretty much bombarded by nuclear weapons, including several targets in Europe, but it doesn't say which ones. But there were a few cities in Europe that were lost as well.
Okay, that's weird. Why do I get bounties for killing?
Well, because the Europeans would have sided with the United States, obviously.
No. I'm saying about sentry schemers. I have mission to kill them here, and I get bounties for killing them. Why is that?
What I want to know about this game is why don't we have, like, plasma bombs or large-scale hydrogen bombs that can do damage to a planet's surface? Like, we need ships that can bombard planets. not human planets. Not human planets, because they would be protected by missile defense shields at this point in history, but well, if the Americans had them in the 21st century, why wouldn't every world have them by the 33rd century, in the 34th century? Anyway, I like the idea of the Federation, like the whole world banding together into one voluntary opt-in government. And I think if we could do that, we'd probably be, as a planet, we would probably solve a lot of problems.
That's true.
Like, together, North America and Europe, we could literally dominate the whole world, so there's no way that there aren't too many other countries in the world that could stop an alliance of those two powers. The EU and
Which are pretty big.
What's that?
The EU and America, they're pretty big, so...
Yeah, they're pretty big, so there'd be nothing with
what's left on Asia?
Asia, but China's not. China on its own contains 1/5 of humanity. You cannot bomb China for this reason, because you'll be killing off 1/5 of humanity, and no one's going to do that. I hope no one does that anyway. Okay, we've docked at the space station. But in Star Trek, the Federation goes even further. It's like not just an alliance of countries. It eventually starts off with all the countries of Earth align, and then the Federation expands to the 4 worlds, founding worlds, which are Vulcan, Talar, Andoria, Talar, Vulcan, and Earth are the first 4 worlds. And they found the United Federation of Planets during the Klingon War to stop the Klingons from taking over. And then, after that, you have, after the 4 Years' War, there is a lengthy peace that follows until the Treaty of Organia, when the Klingons and the Federation are on the brink of war again, in the 23rd century. And now the Federation consists of at least 20-some-odd worlds that are signatories to the Federation. To get into the Federation, you have to be capable of at least warp travel, like faster than light travel. That's the only, and your culture has to be guaranteed that your culture won't be polluted by everyone else without you opting in. Canada right now in its trade negotiations with the United States actually is standing up for that principle as we speak. The Americans and the Canadians are trying to update NAFTA, but Trump is screwing it up, and last week Trump put down the ultimatum saying Canada had to give in on the cultural requirements because too many of our actors were coming south to Hollywood and taking over American jobs or some nonsense. So we said, no, actually, the United States is the bigger threat. It has the bigger media, and it poses a threat to Canada. Canadian culture has to therefore be protected. And most Canadians feel that that's how it should be, right? But, I don't know. So the government's not going to cave on that. And our Prime Minister, very late last week, just before the weekend, came out and said, no, we're not going to give on that. So at the moment it's over culture and dairy products that there is disagreement. And if we can work out the differences on those two fronts, we will update NAFTA, and Mexico, Canada, and the United States will be re-involved in a trade bloc, which will be a good thing. But I don't know if Trump is going to screw it up. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that's very capable of understanding that trade has to be a win-win-win situation. He thinks it has to be a zero-sum game with winners and losers. And he wants the United States to win. I mean, regardless of what happens, he's going to come out saying the United States won. But the reality is, probably there will be a trade agreement, and probably he'll say that, and probably, you know, Trudeau, our Prime Minister, will say, well, all three countries won. We're better off in a trade bloc. The world is piecing itself off into trade blocs. China, Australia, New Zealand in one bloc, with Europe in its own trade bloc, and then North America. But I see these as stepping stones to a real federation. Eventually, all the different continental trading blocs will be able to unite. And then we'll have a federation finally.
That's true.
That's how the EU got organized at first, I think. Was at first it was just a trade alliance, and then it expanded to a political alliance, and now there's talk of the United States of Europe, although England is opted out, but I think they're fools.
England, it was
very close.
I don't know exactly, but I hear it was like this. They wanted, and then they changed their mind. But then the European community told them to leave.
Yeah, I don't know. If England could vote, you know, more completely. I mean, they screwed up their economy, and they know they have. So if they could vote again and they got better than a 60% result, I think the EU would back off and would let them back in.
The problem, it was why they wanted to leave. It was because of the immigrants. They wanted to control that. They wanted to say who can get in and who can get out.
Yeah.
That was their problem. That's why they didn't like
Well, did you know, I actually hold a criminal record here in Canada for a minor drug possession charge over 10 years ago. And I can visit the EU with that charge on my record. It's still possible for me to get into the EU. It is not possible for me to enter the United States. Does that make any sense? Yeah, does that make any sense to you? I can enter the EU through Spain. They'll let me in. They will issue me...
Through Spain or through Denmark? Because in Denmark they are legal.
That's possible, yeah. Well, Spain, I think, will let me in for a limited period of time. But, I mean, England might let me in too. I don't know. I haven't researched all the different countries I have the option to yet. But either way, there's no pardon system in Canada anymore. It's called a record suspension. I could get that if it were required, or pay a fee. Like, I can pay the Americans a fee of 625 Canadian dollars and they will let me in. But I just don't want to... I don't want the added expense of visiting the United States. If I'm going to spend $625, I'd rather spend it in Europe than in the United States. So it's okay if a European country tells me, look, you have a criminal record, we would like you to provide us with, you know, some sort of knowledge of your whereabouts and coverage for certain costs related to your monitoring, etc., etc. And could you please pay us, you know, 400 euros? That would be more acceptable to me than paying $625 to the Americans. That makes sense to you?
It's like I told you, depends in which country, because in some countries it's legal to do drugs. Like in France.
Well, Holland.
In
Holland, I could do another one.
In France, you can light a joint and smoke it easily, you know, and the police sees it, doesn't say anything.
Well, what about Holland? There's cases of people with cocaine records getting into Holland. And Belgium.
I don't know.
Anyway, Canada's on the verge of likely having a complete review of drug laws. We think that here, our view is that you get more achieved by treating drug addiction directly than you do sticking people in jail for minor bullshit possession charges. If you stick someone in jail, it doesn't change their mind about anything. It's not like you're going to convince them never to do drugs again. You know, they're not, these people, they're not fearful of jail. So what is achieved? Nothing. Whereas if you treat the problem, and the actual problem, like the drug addiction, and cocaine, by the way, doesn't addict everyone. It addicts a tiny minority of people, and pot doesn't addict anyone at all. Then, you know, whatever. But pot might cause cancer, like if it's smoke. You're inhaling it into your lungs, your body doesn't like that necessarily. So, and I don't smoke pot, I can't stand it. But, I mean, drugs were just an experimental thing I was doing, 10 or 15 years ago, and I got caught with a small amount of drugs on my person. The Canadian government also does not record which drugs that you were convicted of having at the time, so I don't know how that impacts getting into Europe. They don't really care, they just sentence you and that's it. So all there would be is a drug conviction and a sentencing. And that's it.
But still, it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And although I won't say I've never done drugs since then, I will say that I do them a heck of a lot less than I used to when I was younger. And again, it was just an experimental phase, like everyone there's over 30% of the population in North America does drugs at some point in your life. So before you're dead, 1 in 3 people tries drugs. It's kind of hypocritical to turn around then and say, well, we're going to make the people who get convicted, who get caught with drugs, they're going to have trouble finding a job, they're going to have, they're going to have problems traveling, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What for? Why? What does it achieve? I mean, you're going to depress your own tourism? I mean, these aren't terrorists you're dealing with, they're freaking drug users. they're not violent, they're just, they just wanted to see what it was like to be high. And that's about it.
That's true.
So... I don't see the merit of just say no. I never agreed with it, and I still don't. Even when I wasn't doing drugs before, I never agreed with it. It was an American policy. I thought we were imposing on Canadians, and I didn't agree with it on that basis. Although in some countries in the world, like Iran, for example, you can do heroin. You can buy heroin almost everywhere. And there's no laws broken because it's been available in Iran for thousands of years. As opium anyway. You can smoke opium.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of drugs.
Then don't do them.
I never did.
It's very simple,
I know
right?
people who did.
Yeah.
I saw, not that long ago, how they do cocaine. How do they refine it? How do they make it? And fuck that shit.
Yeah, but if there was a government that was behind it, doing it cleanly and safely, it would be a lot different than the way it is now, where it's all shipped up in big bundles on cargo containers and whatnot. Not all...
just Gordon Ramsay, that chef. He went to, where was it? I don't remember which country. But it was, they took the leaves, the cocaine leaves, and they put
called a coca leaf.
Cement powder on it and battery acid and fuck it.
Yeah, but it's not battery acid you're using. What they do is they react the battery acid with other chemicals. And then
Yeah, he used the battery acid to filter out the benzene or something like this, the petrol. But still, it was a mixture of only fucking chemicals.
well, a powder that was treated with chemicals, yes.
But that was going to be refined again and purified even more.
Yep.
But still.
Believe me, it gets very clean by the time normally by the time any human's consuming it. But probably in many ways it's a lot safer than, say, I think that those drugs tend to be like ecstasy. If you know how ecstasy is made, it's made much in the same way. There's solvents involved in its production as well. But yet ecstasy for the longest time was legal in Holland. It was even legal in Ireland for one day when they didn't have a drug law covering it.
This is an
Due to a court ruling, yeah. But I mean, still, it just shows you how stupid the whole thing. You could take a syringe and inject battery acid into your veins. That's not illegal. But for some reason, snorting a hit of cocaine is illegal. Why does that make any sense to anyone? You're not going to die from the cocaine. You will die from the battery acid. You will die if you inject battery acid into your veins. Like, this is the thing I don't understand. It's not really it's a toxin, but it's not a poison. And poisons are considered legal.
Like it's something normal in Romania to hear they get drunk and they killed or raped. Why it's still legal to drink? Why it's alcohol?
Well, because there was something happened in North America back in the 1930s. There was in the late 1920s the women's equality movement picked up in North America. And the women got the right to vote in Canada. They were recognized as actual people for the first time. They had not been previously given the status of persons by our court system. And when that happened, they gained women's suffrage, but they also, in so doing, made it so that alcohol was illegal. And all that ended up happening was that organized crime immediately got into the business of alcohol. So organized crime started to flourish in both Canada and the United States. And in the United States, the city of Chicago was nearly devastated by crime wars. It led to a host of evils that were infinitely more severe than having it legal the way it was before. And the population, by the time the Second World War had broken out, the population had quite enough of prohibition and voted in large numbers to reinstate the allowance for alcohol. In Canada, it was the government of Canada that mandated that the provincial governments, the regional governments within Canada, would take responsibility for licensing, how they were going to sell alcohol, but that it would be again legal. And this model was again followed recently when the new cannabis law was passed. So very soon, in fact, I think it's next week or something, the passed law takes effect. It gains what's called royal assent, which means our viceroy signs off on it. And as soon as that happens, as soon as our head of state signs off on the bill, then it becomes law. So that means that cannabis products will be taken off the ban list. And the question is now arising, well, what about these other drugs? What about ecstasy? What about cocaine? And people are starting to wonder, well, if you can take pot off the list, then why not all of them? Up to heroin, And I think that the realization is quickly coming around we're better off treating this as a medical disorder instead of a legal problem. So, anyway, that's the Canadian view of drugs as of today. I'm not saying every European country is going to go the same way, but I suspect in 50 years we won't be talking about this as anything more than ancient history, because I don't think the time is going to come eventually where consumption of drugs will be considered allowed. There was a science fiction television show that aired in North America a few years ago called Caprica. It was a spin-off series from Battlestar Galactica. And I don't know if you watched that at all, but if you did, you saw a planet, one of the 12 worlds, Caprica, that was where drugs were allowed. And they had drug parlors, right? So you'd go into the parlor, you'd order your favorite drug, and you'd sit there, being high for like an hour or two, and then you'd leave. And that's what they were for, right? Like an opium den. Now, can this lead to addiction? Absolutely. And for those people, we intend to offer services. We will give you medical counseling, supports, rehabilitation if you want it, all on government expense, so that our population remains productive and in control. In fact, where heroin addiction is concerned, a new drug called Suboxone can treat early stages of addiction to heroin almost instantaneously. You take a pill or two over 2 days, and you could potentially be cured of your heroin addiction, not suffering any withdrawal whatsoever. At which point it just becomes a matter of personal preference. What kind of high do you like, So with these new technologies, these new philosophies, why not? Is my question. And you're right to point out that there were people doing things. Alcohol is one of the worst drugs to get addicted to, because it often does lead to rape and to murder and to people getting assaulted and beaten up and domestic abuse and all the rest of it. But if you provide services around this, we've found that alcohol addictions treatment has been very successful in this country for many, many decades. There's no reason to expect it to go any differently with any other substance. So,
look, I wasn't there. A friend of mine gone out to drink and met with another guy. Mm-hmm. And that guy he started to speak a lot of bullshit, like, okay. And he looks at him, like, I didn't know, I just found out there are lots of drugs, you can find them everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Like, something I didn't know, it was something new for me.
So if you're not looking for them, you're not going to find them. But if you pay attention, believe me, you'll find her everywhere. And a lot of people use them, and other people don't even know. Like, I've had police interview me while I was high on ecstasy, and you just behave like you're sober, which you can pull off, I guess, if you're on ecstasy. And the police let me drive my car away. They probably shouldn't have, and I probably should not have been driving a car in the state I was in. But I did. And got away with it. It's really hard.
And he was looking at him and he was saying, I'm not drunk, I'm not drugged. But he was both.
Yeah.
But that guy, like his brother, he's in police.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, police
it's full here.
Police have been corrupted in certain parts of Canada, in some cities, to the point where they'll accept drugs as bribes, right? So you can have a situation where some police, in fact, will go around public events, like Canada Day, which is our national holiday. My friend was accosted one year by police, and they took his drugs off him, but they didn't arrest him. What they should have done is arrested him, but then if they arrest him, they have to turn over the drugs with the arrest warrant. Right?
That's what's happening in France.
So the police just keep the drugs, and then they do the drugs themselves, and they don't necessarily report that they've made an arrest.
No, it's something like in France, if you're smoking weed, they don't do anything to you if you're smoking it.
Yeah.
But like if you are taking it out to make one, they take it.
Well, what if you're out on you're attending a rave in Paris, and police stops you, thinks you've got ecstasy on you, takes and discovers you've got ecstasy pills? Can you expect to be arrested, or no?
I don't know that, but I know they're not illegal, but drugs in general, I think. I don't know exactly which one. They're not illegal, but they're tolerated, so...
Yeah. Well, different countries have different
something
rules.
this.
But I want to, what I'm trying to do here is, of course, convince you of the merits of full legalization, so that the United States is going to be crushed with world opinion that will be going against it. and will hopefully take some of the pressure off of Canada to frame its own drug laws. Because right now we're so close to the United States, they have a huge influence on our legal system. And I don't always like that.
In Romania as well, it's illegal. The drugs, they are completely illegal. So if they find you with drugs, they arrest you on spot.
I worry about Romania in that everything's illegal. You know, like, you know, because of passport and a few other things. Like, there's the earmarkings of what you called a tyranny there. So I would not. I mean, most dictatorships do outlaw drugs because it gives you another excuse to arrest someone for no other reason than the fact that they're carrying drugs on them. They make it out as
a couple of years ago, there is a problem there with a lot of drugs and, you know, drug people living on the streets and shit like that. And they wanted to legalize some of the drugs for like a method to help them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it worked out.
If you legalize it, the thing is, like, the people of Afghanistan have been growing heroin, have been growing opium, which is the key ingredient in heroin, for many, many years. You'd give countries like that would be given a new economic task to pursue, providing high quality heroin packaged by governments, inspected by government inspectors, and then released to the population so that there was no contaminants, you know, nothing toxic other than the drug itself, right? And that would probably save a lot of lives, just doing that. And once you realize how many lives could be saved just doing that, I think we'd go a long, long way to seeing the kind of world that I think we could be living in. In Holland, when they decriminalized ecstasy possession and cannabis and all the rest of it, that they chose to, there was a list that they chose to decriminalize. When they decriminalized them, there was a spike in use for the first month or two, I think, and then it tapered off. It went back to its normal level. So people were experimenting and trying, but didn't necessarily make it part of their daily life to be high on ecstasy. I mean, you can't be productive at work, on doing a job. You know, there's lots of things that drugs, it's like going to work drunk. Like, you just can't, right? You're just not functional.
I did that.
Yeah, well, it's not, I had a friend who was, I went to his workplace with while he was high on ecstasy, and I was just looking at him going, what are you even doing here? You should, like, call in sick or something, you know, like, this is stupid. You can't function. You can't even process orders. And he's doing his best. Like, he works in a sandwich shop, so he's like making sandwiches and whatnot. But I don't think he got it completely right all the time. And this is understandable because it's being distracted by ecstasy. It's a very distractible drug. So, well, what can you do? I mean. I hung out there for a while, then I went home. But it was an interesting view of the situation. I'd never seen anyone try to complete a job before while high on ecstasy. As I said, this was many years ago, so whatever. That phase of my life, I mean, I might visit it every once in a while, but I'm not going back to being, you know, bouncing around high on ecstasy at parties anymore. I'm getting too old for that, frankly, and even if I weren't, I'm kind of bored of it now, so. I still like electronic music, but... Anyway, the stupidity of youth. But when else do you have to be stupid in life?
Oh God.
You only live life once, as I've always said.
If you don't have access to necessary permission, exit the facility.
Okay, I want to kill some more things, so I'm going to launch my ship. Oh, I have to put the transactions in, that's right. Hang on. That's bounties. Oh, and there's something else going on here. I have to do something else, I don't know what though.
Oh, and what I forgot about those Oculus glasses, the new ones.
Oh yes.
So they want to implement eye tracking and what else? Like you can see your hands. You don't need gloves or anything. You can interact with your bare hands in games and applications.
In Dome? Is this with Oculus Dome? Oh, I see. Because you need the controllers.
Oculus have Dome. You don't need any controllers or anything.
Oh wow!
Just with your hands. And eye tracking, face recognition, and what else?
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, if you search on YouTube, there's a presentation and they say everything there. In 29th of September.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eye open for it, but I'm not guaranteeing I'll buy it because I don't trust Facebook, and lately they've been kind of off in terms of some of the things they've said and done, especially with privacy. They're way off target in a few points. oh, I can buy selenium and get technician.
We extend a warm welcome to new arrivals at this facility.
42 to 7. So now I have 14 technician, and I need more rhenium. Here's my rhenium supply. I think I have to mine some asteroids is what's going to end up happening here. I can buy some cadmium. So we'll buy 8 more cadmium. Cannot change technetium for cadmium, but now we have 19 cadmium. And we have nickel. Molybdenum for nickel. Nope. Iron. Nope. They want too much iron. 39 for phosphorus. Yes, let's give me phosphorus.
In the interest of increasing traffic flow within the docking bay,
And then I'll have to mine a planet somewhere. 24 molybdenum. Ruthenium. Where's my rhenium supply? I don't even see it here. There it is, rhenium. 26 of it. I can have... Oh, I got some arsenic and zirconium. So... Okay. There's tellurium. Okay.
We would advise pilots to
No, I want technician,
slow down and maintain a reasonable distance from us.
and I want trade. For technician, I will trade tungsten. No, I won't, because you only get one. Okay. How about ruthenium? Ruthenium is useless for anything.
Access to facilities.
Technician, we can have yttrium. Leaving us with 8. We don't need much more. We have niobium. We're at 20 now.
In the interest of
Technician, and we will take.
we request that pilots avoid blocking access to docking pads.
Completely depleting our molybdenum supply to 0, and for molybdenum we will take chromium in replacement. We now have 6 molybdenum left, and we can also take vanadium.
Please submit a request entering the document.
And now I have traded the entire periodic table of the elements. I have rhenium, do I not? 26 rhenium and 24. Yes, so that should be enough now to, except we need to also buy, hang on to it now. That gives us our material requirements, but we still have to have a different, for our gimbaled class 3, we need some other component. I'm going to have to travel back to that base to find out what. Computer, laying a course through the galaxy. I need you to go back to Shinartra Desra. There's someone there right now. Horza Gobochul. Whoever the hell that is. And then there's this person over here in this star system. Commander Cypher 40 is visiting the Aronaga system. And over here, Helgardu, no. Shinarta Desra and Fletch, no. I don't know where my entry point was. Oh, there it is. HIP 16538. Okay. Okay, so now we have to figure out which system might have near Shinarta Desra the best chance of... Oh, we have to go to the other base first. Okay, hang on.
If you're unable to connect to docking procedures, time slots.
Well, there is actually another choice. We can go to 39 Leonis. And we can scan for the nearest. Okay, go to 39 Leonis in Inara. 39 Leonis. Done. And manufactured Tigon Station. Three, 6, 3. No, we need a human technology broker. Scanning. 39. Leonis. And we have the nearest technology broker. Nearest 39 Leonis is Brunel Ring in Ross 98 for human technology. So Ross 98. We're laying in a course of Federation World, Ross 98, a K yellow-orange star, 33 light years away. It is one jump. This will give me my mandatory requirements. And we will jump. Bye. Brunel Ring, locking onto destination. We are headed to Brunel Ring in this system.
Okay, so, for fuck's sake, I need to get out of the game and then come back again.
Oh, okay.
I got stuck with my survey.
Oh, well then you have to leave the game. You just have to go to the main menu. When you get the prompt to come up, select main menu. It will log you off your current session, and when you log back in, it will restart you. You don't have to stop the voice chat, and you don't have to log. You don't have to go back to the
I already did it.
Oh.
I already did it.
Okay. Oh.
So the only way is for me to get out, enter without horizon, and then again.
That shouldn't. It's gonna do the exact same thing when you log back in through Windows.
No, but if I enter without the horizon, I'm back in space. You know, because I'm too close to the settlement to live.
Oh, whatever. I don't quite understand that. It should be identical to logging out. They don't the routine the part of the program they're calling to log you off is probably very likely the exact same one that's being used. Oh shit! I overshot this. Hang on. I'm gonna fly by this place now. I don't want to. No. No. Well, do whatever you have to do.
Let me see first here.
And then I would just drop the main menu first, and then wait a second and log back in. It should be fine. Convoy pattern. We don't like those because they're pointless. It's all pointless. 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. We are in the Ross 98 star system, approaching Brunel Ring. Approaching 20,000 kilometers. Mark. 15,000 kilometers. 10,000 kilometers. And falling. There's normal space navigation. Approaching Brunel Ring.
Alpha Romeo 0. This station is under line control. Please comply with STARCOM flight regulations.
Wait a minute.
Hey, use
I
my...
managed to stop it.
The starbase just called me by my ship's ID. Alpha Romeo 010. You are clear to land on pad 17. And that's exactly the ID number I gave the ship.
Same. But you can change. You call it by its name. So.
Okay. And now we have landing gear deployed. Stop. 3, 2, 1. Entering hangar. Starfleet services are online. Welcome to Brunel Ring. Welcome, Commander. Brunel Ring services are at your disposal. In case you haven't heard, our current economic climate means you will do well here if you have goods to trade. I need you to unlock the shock cannon number 3. I need 2 more technetium. I need 28 vanadium, which I did not know I required. And that's the fixed cannon. I need the turreted cannon, class 3, please. Fixed, gimbaled, turreted, shot cannon, turreted, class 3. No, I need the gimbaled class 3, which is the power transfer bus. I need 12 of these. And 28 vanadium. That I can probably get off the planet's surface. How much vanadium do I have? Vanadium. $17. I need 1 more vanadium, literally. Unbelievable. And I need the power transfer bus. So, 2 questions for Inara. Where do I find the power transfer bus? Actually, it's EDDB, not Inara, but anyway. I'm in Ross 98, looking for power transfer bus. Ross 98. Landing pad must be large, and I require sells commodities power transfer bus. Find stations nearby, please. 8 stations were located. Whitney Orbital in the DeWinji system, 104 light years away. At 108 light years away, no, we'll go to the DeWinji system. And we'll find our vanadium there, hopefully. System, open a new tab. There are no metal planets, no planets you can land on. Which carry vanadium, that's stupid. Oh, the Ross 98 system. Systems, Ross 98. Bodies. Vanadium. No vanadium so far, no vanadium. No one is yielding any oh, there we go. Let's see here, Ross 98 2DA has a vanadium. Oh, hang on. Someone's hailing. Hello, Squaddle.
Hello.
You'll never guess what happened here today.
As in here? Where? What?
Well, our subway system is already 6 months overdue. It's going to be another 6 months overdue before it's finished. And the contract...
you mean in Ottawa?
Yeah, and the contractor is saying that they poured the inspector said they poured substandard concrete into some of the buttresses that tunnel through underneath the city. So,
nice.
Yeah, so there's talk of penalties and whatnot, and whether or not the company's just going to abandon the project halfway finished.
I mean, some other company's going to get paid twice as much to come in, rip it all out, and redo it right.
It's just a mess anyway. And of course, it comes from government low bid, right? In Canada, the lowest bid always wins. Well,
that's usually the way it is here, too.
Yeah, the lowest bid isn't always the best value, so... In fact, often it's not the best value. And the United States military doesn't operate that way at all. McDonnell Douglas, those defense contractors, they do some of the best work in the world, and the United States pays for it quite willingly.
That's about right.
But anyway, it doesn't work the same way in Canada, especially in the Defense Department, but it's a whole other kettle of wax. And the premier of the province I happen to live in, called Ontario, he's the equivalent of a U.S. governor of a state, but he controls more geographic area because Canada's bigger. The premier of Canada's largest province, Ontario, launched us all into a constitutional crisis this afternoon when, after I would finish singing all my praises to you about the Canadian Constitution, he invoked the one downside to our Constitution, something called the Notwithstanding Clause. The Notwithstanding Clause means that a premier can override any section of the Constitution at will if he doesn't agree with the court ruling. So if you take the government to court, they can override it using this notwithstanding clause. The thing is, in Canada, by convention, this is not done. So it's not clear what political impact this is going to have. But I fear that Trump's impact has finally actually touched me indirectly through the election of a wingnutty freaking premier who looks up to Donald Trump as a political master and is now using the notwithstanding clause to do whatever the hell he wants, whenever he wants, with the law. And there are no checks to stop him from doing so, other than the appointed lieutenant governor of the province saying, no, I'm not signing this into law, which isn't likely to happen. So, two big stories broke today that I thought were kind of interesting.
Well, last night I was building ships. I now have a bigger fleet of ships.
You have a what?
I now have more ships in my fleet.
Oh, good for you. I'm still working on the ones I have. I did, however, max out the damage my fragmentation cannons can now do, so they're ripping apart everything that comes close, and taking down their shields in pretty swift succession. There has not been an NPC character I've not been able to damage the hull of on my first shot. So these shock cannon tests are going very well. I'm just in the process of trying to upgrade my class 3 shock cannon. Two class 3 centered shock cannon that will, of course, do shitloads of damage right off the middle, nestled between two banks of fragmentation cannons.
So I have a brand new Fer-de-Lance, a brand new Imperial Clipper, and a brand new Python I can play with.
Oh, good. We'll keep you busy.
Well,
Soon you'll have every ship that exists in Shinwar Tedezra's inventory.
oh, I've got a couple. I've got like 3 or what? 1, 2, 3.
98 2D.
I've got 3 Imperial Eagles. I got 3 of those.
Okay.
Not sure I really need this Viper MK4 I've got. It's just kind of a cool looking ship. I mean, well, if I'm gonna go into battle, I'm gonna use one of my behemoths that I've got. Got 2 crates and Corvette, Anaconda. I'm debating if I want to make another Type 10.
And I just lost 10,000 credits on the sale of 51 power converters that I don't need anymore, and instead I'm going to use that space to purchase something else that I need.
You want to hear a good one? Right now, my Imperial cutter will jump empty 46 light years.
Oh, that's not bad.
And I've got it set up for hauling freight. If I'm fully loaded, it'll jump 35 light years. For a freighter, that you can't really beat that. But I have no decent protections.
Is that a cutter or a clipper?
That's my cutter, my big one.
Your big
I
one,
decided
okay.
just to see what I could get it for max jump range.
Yeah, but I mean,
I can't complain about that.
You can amend the systems to get it to jump even further if you wanted.
I did a little tweaking, not too bad though. I went to a 5D power plant. I have no weapons on it because if I'm hauling passengers or freight most of the time, you don't want to get into battle anyway.
Yeah.
And I've got a 5D power distributor, but otherwise I still have my 8A thrusters, my 7A frame shift drive, my 7D life support, 7D sensors. I could go a little bit smaller.
But you could do upgrades. You could do upgrades to some of those systems using the tech brokers, and you could get even further. Is what I'm saying. 98 2DA.
Oh, at this point in time, all I have to do is, actually, I've got all A-rated equipment for it. I just swapped it out. The A-rated stuff's sitting in storage.
Okay, hang on.
I'm putting lighter equipment in so I can jump farther.
Hang on. I just lost video. I can't see anything. It's pissing me off.
Ooh. I'll put a 7D thrusters and I can jump 49.65 light years. Pull everything out if I just wanted to jump long range and be able to really do that.
Sorry,
I've decided I wanted to make an Explorer out of my Anaconda or my cutter. I could do it.
Oh, by the way, apparently South Dakota is a good fertile ground for electing Democratic senators in the forthcoming November elections. So I'm told. I just wanted you to verify or tell me that the analyzers.
Usually South Dakota is more on the Republican side, but if the local Republicans have been pissing off the residents of the state, they will vote whatever.
So it is
South
possible.
It's usually conservative, but it doesn't mean that that's the way it will always be.
So there is precedent for Democratic senators from South Dakota.
It could go either way, honestly. Usually we go the conservative side, but
yeah.
Oh, so last Friday, I ended up renewing my driver's license online.
Oh, good.
And I am now a registered voter. I'm registered as independent.
Oh, congratulations.
That was entertaining. I went and I was looking. I was like, well, why the hell is this? Looking at it, I'm like, well, let's see. I went and did some looking. Yeah, apparently a couple of years ago, laws got tweaked and changed, and I didn't realize it.
So you were told that
Or I
you'd never
never
be
paid
able
enough attention, I don't know.
You were told you'd never be able to vote again, and now you can. So America actually is a democracy then.
Well, it is. It always has been, but state by state, and I'm thinking I probably just misread something somewhere.
Okay,
It's very possible.
I didn't think it was for forever and ever. I said that at the time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm not an
I had
American,
to have
so...
reason to actually put forth the effort to look into it.
Well, if I were you, I would make damn good and sure I got my butt out to the polls to vote this coming election, along with all other members of your family who can, because democracy only works when everyone participates.
Well, you figure I've been able of age to vote. I registered when I was 18, and I've never actually voted, so I might do it just for the fun of it.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting
17
experience.
years of not participating, maybe I should try it just for the fun of it.
I think it's an experience worth having. It doesn't take very much time. They're only gonna. The government is only asking this one thing of you every 4 years. You know.
No, actually, you got things to vote for every year, but
technically, yes. I'm sorry. This is the United States. I realize you stagger your votes, but in Canada,
even if we're not voting for federal.
Yeah.
Congress or president, you still have local laws that are always getting voted for.
Yeah. So you can have a say, but I would, if I were in the United States and I were an American citizen, I can tell you quite safely, I would probably be at every time the government wanted to consult the electorate, I would be there, happy to give my advice and counsel. Because a lot of places in the world don't have that. Places like, for example, Venezuela, and look what's happening there. You know, some nutbar whose conspiracy theories about the United States intervening in Latin America, which it probably hasn't done now for the past 15 years, at least.
I'm going to guess the United States doesn't really care what happens around South America anymore.
Not anymore.
For the most part.
Not anymore.
Modern age, the United States doesn't have to intervene because it's a world economy. So I mean, if one country is doing something that the rest of the countries frown upon, they're all going to ultimately voice their opinion.
Yeah.
So the United States doesn't really need to be the big brother anymore.
No, and you'll see that in the years ahead that the Canadian government will spend more on defense, and there'll be a bit more independence. Of course, with greater armament comes greater say at the negotiating table, but we tend to be fairly modest in our expectations, views, and express demands.
I have a feeling the United States is going to start kind of taking a backseat approach, start letting the other countries, especially the other NATO countries, take a more active role. I mean, the United States, since the UN was formed, back after World War II,
yeah,
the United States has kind of, whether we wanted to or not, been in the front seat.
Kind of, but it's also remiss in paying its UN dues.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
but
put
even if
money
we don't
into it.
pay all the dues that they say that we should be paying, we still pay a lot more than a lot of the other countries do.
Oh yes, that's true. But I mean,
we're footing a lot. We're footing a lot of the military.
Yeah.
Personnel and equipment. I mean, that's got to go for something.
But soon it won't be American lives at risk. It'll be robotic soldiers and the like, drones, both on the ground, in the air, and at sea. We're
gonna have robots fighting robots.
They're gonna do all the
pretty
hard work.
redundant. It'll just be who can spend the most money then.
That's where it's going. Yeah, pretty much. So you want your economy nice and strong.
And we know who can spend the most money at this point in time in the military sector. China in the private sector, they're starting to get pretty strong there.
Yeah, but China still cannot spend as much as the United States does on its military. Despite the fact that it's a quarter of humanity in its population, it is still fucking goddamn it, my video just died again. Hang on. This is so maddening.
Spend some money on a new headset.
Well, I just found out about the Oculus Dome. is coming out right away. So, the half dome, I beg your pardon. And it's a hat that you wear, apparently.
Oh, hi, Azrael. I didn't realize you were here with us.
Yeah, he's here. He told me all about the half dome. So I'm going to be...
He's usually kind of shy and quiet whenever I'm around, it seems like.
Well, you're an American. It's only natural. Anyway,
we're just big and scary. We're all a bunch of fucking teddy bears when it comes on to it.
Hang on a second. I still can't get this video to react properly. Come on. God damn it. What the hell went wrong here? One second. Oh, this is totally warped. I have to log out and back in again. Give me a second.
Okay.
Such a bullshit.
Spacecraft come within 584 meters. And
Fucking hate Oculus.